Welcome to another Unwinding with Fiber and Fabric and day 5 of Vlogmas 2022. I am glad to be back after... I feel like yesterday's video was just a little bit chaotic or rushed. I'm hoping that today is a little more calm and toned down. We'll see. It was probably because of this very interesting golden pear fiber that I was spinning, that it does have green undertones, but boy, that kind of reads brownish orange. So maybe that's what it was. So we'll see what we get today. The color may be the reason why yesterday's was just a little on the, did I even take a breath? So let's take a big deep breath and let's dig out a fiber. Oh, I should mention, I really did enjoy getting a savory treat as my challenge. I settled on herb bread and hummus. And after I pick this out, I might talk about the hummus just a little bit. But let's see what I have. I have, you might be wondering, I am not trying to pronounce, and I don't know how well any of it shows up on your video, but I am not trying to pronounce. I have enough trouble pronouncing English. Pronouncing anything in German is just not going to work. I'll enjoy the chocolate, but I'm not going to try to say it. And another little present to eat. And today I have a card that says dark green, and it is another exhaust. I promise there are some yellows in there. Oh, yes, this one was a nice exhaust. So the dark green has a lot of blue undertone. And I'm putting it over here for the other camera so that we'll get the true colors to show up here or here. I can't remember where I ever put it. But the dark green, yeah, it has a lot of blue undertone as opposed to the yellow undertone. And so it does make a very pretty exhaust, because I find a lot of times when I make my green, dye with green, I get a lot of blue left over. That doesn't, a lot of blue tint that is left over, doesn't get absorbed in. And so this one, yeah, this is it's actually not too dissimilar to the color of my chair. And you might be wondering, so if you're wondering, I normally, when I spin, this is where I spin. I spin in my lap, right here, okay? What I've been trying to do for the camera is spin a little bit more over here, and it is, you know, the long draw, but I'm trying to get it to where both cameras are picking up my spinning at the same time. I know it's not always successful. But if you're wondering why my odd body position, normally when I spin, especially at a minstrel, I spin in my lap right here. And today, because I am wearing the dark black shirt, you might actually be able to see me, my hands, show up. I am, day after day, trying... Sorry about that. I have my phone silenced, but it will still ring if you have an alarm set. And I do have a couple alarms to remind me of different things during the day, every day. So, I apologize. But, just to prove, this is not... I don't get do-overs. You know, I pulled out the fiber, and even with technical difficulties, I have to kind of go with it. Including a squeaky wheel, but my oil is not anywhere over here. And I don't want to stop the camera and stop the spinning unless it's an actual emergency. So, let's just keep on spinning. And I will deal with what that alarm was telling me to do after I'm done. So, no, I wasn't, my alarm is not about cooking food. It's not telling me that I have something burning in the oven. But speaking of ovens in the kitchen and timers going off, so I did, as my savory treat, I did herb bread, which I like to make, especially this time of year, because I will cut it up and dry it into croutons to go into stuffing. And yes, it's stuffing, but I don't actually stuff it in a bird. I have a sausage, cashew, dried cranberry stuffing that I make. That I never stuff it in a bird. I bake it in a baking, usually a covered baking casserole pan. And I like to make my own croutons for it, my own bread squares for it. And so I'll put, in my herb bread, I usually have rosemary and thyme and sage, basil or basil for the Brits over there watching. And let's see. Oh, and celery seed. I like adding celery seed to, you know what? We'll see if the camera catches it here just directly in my lap. And I'm going to relax a little bit more. I like putting celery seed in it as well. So my herb bread gets, and sometimes I'll put black pepper in my, what I call my green mix. And what I did, I started doing this years and years ago. I will grind up a lot of dried herbs of my flavor profile, Thanksgiving turkey profile. I'll grind up a bunch and I'll put them in small little jars. And when I'm doing a turkey, I will have some in a jar, specific old baby food jar. And I will have that designated just for the turkey, so that when I am getting the turkey prepped, I can add all of the herbs without contaminating any other of my spices, herbs, or seasonings in the house. So that's what I started years ago, and then we discovered that the same dried herb mix that I put in my turkey tastes really good in a bread. It's a basic white loaf. It's a, what is it? Water, oil, little tiny bit of sugar, active yeast, pretty basic. And I'll mix it up and I'll put some of this dried herb, and it doesn't usually affect the rise time or any of that. Now, when I do it with stuffed Spanish olives, chop those up, throw those in, or Kalamata olives, stuff those, or chop those up and put those in the bread. Yeah, I'll have to adjust the, a little bit. It may take a little bit longer in rising, but that herb mixture goes really well with olives too. Well, this time I wanted to have the herb bread, and I thought, well, I'll use some for stuffing, but of course I need some for eating as well, right? And so I made a second savory, a dip. As I was mentioning, I should probably make a dip to put on it, and I did. And the dip this time is, I made hummus. I have some cream cheese dips that I am sure that over this month of December I will be making. But I decided to go with hummus, and I wanted to tell you about the hummus. So I'm a new convert to hummus. It's only been a year or two that actually it's really been, it was during the time that my daughter was home from the Peace Corps, I think, that she introduced me to, I'm going to draw a blank, the ground up sesame that goes in hummus. And I started making hummus. But I have a pretty basic hummus. I flavor the, flavor the garbanzo beans when I'm pressure cooking them, and I've experimented a little bit with different type of flavors and trying a little more. What I run into is more traditional, and sometimes I stumbled upon having green chili in it. And green, basically a little bit of a southwestern flavor. But I really, initially, the first few times that I did hummus and tried hummus, I didn't like it so much. There was always something, it felt like something was missing. And one day, I just decided to add a little of the brine that comes off of my Spanish olives that for some reason I've reached a certain age and I just really crave them. So I added a little bit of brine. And guess what? The thing that was missing ended up being there. Well, yesterday I didn't have a whole lot of brine. I get Spanish olives that are so well packed in the jar that there's a lot of olives and very little brine. And that's a great thing, right? We want more olives, less brine. So, improvising, I tossed in to the hummus a couple of the olives, including the little pimento in the center. And oh my goodness, what a wonderful little treat. Oh, so I'm noticing, my kids tell me that sometimes in these videos, my hair starts to take a little of a blue tint. And for definitely the Brits and some of the U.S. people, and anybody who watches British television, you might all know the name, what I think, Mrs. Slocum in Are You Being Served, and her very interesting colored hair. And my kids give me a bad time that sometimes the lighting in these vlogs, my hair goes a little blue. But I promise you, today it's not that it's going blue. Is that I have a silk scarf tied around the bun back there. It's not been a good hair for vlogging day. So I tied a little scarf back there, and it was coming undone, and so I've just now adjusted it. It's actually not a blue scarf either. It's actually a lavender one. But, again, we have to make do with the cameras we have do. And one of the things, speaking of cameras and color, that I don't know why I haven't thought of this before. When I edit my videos, I'm always so worried because I always look so washed out or the color's off or whatever. And then the other day I realized I'm looking at this through my computer screen. You're looking at this through your computer screen or your cell phone screen or, yeah. Let's go over. I will spin over here this time. Oh my goodness, I normally don't draft this direction, and this is not bad today. It's working a little bit. So I realized that on the screen that I see right now as I'm recording, the color looks fine. But when I go to my editing computer to edit, the color all is different. And when I make tweaks and adjustments, it can change. And I'm worried that because you can really see the wheel and you can really see me and everything around me, that when this is all said and done, this is going to be one that's bleached out. Trying to figure out how to get just the right kind of lighting. It's a challenge. It's a challenge that I really didn't calculate on when I started all of these vlogs. If I ever went viral, I'm sure I'd buy myself a camera just for this purpose. But I don't think I'm ever going to go viral. And so I'm making do. Because I think, well, let's just say I've been noticing a change in the wind, as Mary Poppins would say. That a number of the vloggers that I'm following are starting to notice and take note. There, let's try this again. Taking note of the fact that this fiber is fighting me a little bit. I'm fighting me a little bit. My wheel is squeaky today. But I've been noticing a number of my vloggers taking note of the fact that, oh, you know, let's, nope, not that, there. Let me angle the wheel a little bit. You see, I can see, I see myself in it, and I want to make sure that you're actually able to see me spinning, if you're actually looking, but there. Okay. Squeaky wheel. Stop. I'm going to have to oil it today, I think, really well. A number of the vloggers are taking note of how the economic times are changing for people. And I see the wisdom. The good vloggers are taking note. We are going into, I think, a period in which we're all feeling a little exhausted and also a little financially exhausted. I feel like I'm bumping the camera. Sorry. I knew yesterday changing out my wheel could run me into difficulties, but we will press along. But yes, I feel like oh yes, I'm seeing the problem now. All right. There we go. I think we're all recognizing. My apologies. I told you it would just be, and it's hard to tell from day to day if something has adjusted the wheel, if the kittens have come along. So let me try turning the wheel this way. There we go. If the kittens have come along and messed with something, they do seem to be finding this a fun wheel to play with. But as I was saying, I think that a number of people, that vloggers are noticing, we're growing tired. I think we've been tired for a while. But just like in the early 1900s, just like any other period of time in which there's been a recession or feelings of hardness or strife, the creative people find ways to be creative even if their budgets change. And while I do love having and feel very blessed in having this arsenal of wheels, I do also recognize trying to we can do things. We can go back to a simpler way if we need to. We can pare back. We can make do with what we have. We can make it work. And in my case, while I have an arsenal of wheels and other things, I just can't justify at this moment in life buying specialized cameras. So I ask you to bear with me as the lighting can change and I may sometimes look like Mrs. Slocum with blue hair. Because it's me making do with able to bring to you what I can. And that, means, making do with the cameras that I have. Yeah, so I guess that's where all of that went to. I should say something about my arsenal wheels, and it is a little bit of a funny. Yes, I have a lot of spinning wheels I know I don't have anything close to what some people have in their spinning collection, but I have a number of spinning wheels, and there's a story behind each one of them and a purpose. But the other day, when I was testing this one out to see if I could use it for these vlogs, I had them all stacked around here out of the way so that no one was tripping over them. And it looked like, these are sometimes called a castle wheel. And so I had 3, because I had this minstrel, the darker minstrel that I was initially spinning on, and my Kromsky Sonata, which is a portable wheel, because I've been plying that never-ending skein of Shetland. Not just the never-ending skein, it's the never-ending spin, the 6-month spin. I've been plying that on the Sonata. And so I had 3 castle wheels here protecting the Christmas tree. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, maybe that is the solution to protecting Christmas trees. We just need to have a bunch of wheels around to keep the kittens away. If, of course, it keeps the kittens away. And I can't promise that it does. But knocking on wood one more time in this month of December, we will take each day as it comes. And as you can see, that is finished. This one had a little bit more waste. I have a little waste bowl over here now. I thought about, after yesterday, I had some waste, and I was just like, I should bring a waste bowl over. So, we've hit past the 20-minute mark. We've got to wrap this up. I really am trying to keep on track. Okay. And now, I need to bake. Oops, not in front of my face. Put it in front of this. I need to bake a sweet treat. So this has definitely been the week of treats. So, I've actually been wondering when I would get one of these. And I think I am going to take this opportunity to bake up some of my Instapot Vortex brownie, air fryer brownies. A brownie recipe I've made in a compact way to fit in my Insta Vortex air frying oven thing. My little mini oven. I want to share this recipe. So, I'm going to make up these brownies. I will put a link in the description below to my blog, and I'll share the recipe. It can be made in other ovens, but it's a shrunk down version, and I will tell you there is a wonderful little treat to it. I'll include the recipe I'm going to include. If you modify one ingredient, now just a little bit extra, put it in the Instapot type pressure cooker and treat it like a steamed pudding. It's actually really good. It's not fudge and it's not brownie, it's not cake, it's somewhere all in between. So I will include both those recipes. Although I'm only going to make the brownies today, I will include the recipe for the steamed pud. May not have a picture for it anytime soon. So we'll see. Okay? So that is my promise. And we'll see what I get. But yes, I have a brownie recipe I've been wanting to share. And now we really do have to wrap up because I have taken up enough of your time. Our visit today is needing to come to an end. And so I wish you all the best as you unwind with fiber and fabric and maybe a little bit of chocolate yumminess in the kitchen. Until tomorrow, we'll see you then.